What's up, team? It's Julio Aviles here from Team Bold Adventurers. It works. And today, what we're going to share with you guys is a presentation from a meeting that actually took place last week. Now, unfortunately, there were technical difficulties when we were recording it. So instead of trying to piece together that mess, I thought that I would just re-record it for you guys and just go over the same commentary and go over the slides. Keep in mind, guys, that we plan on doing many more of these. Go ahead and subscribe down below. And what that will do is give you notifications whenever we stream future events. So all you have to do is click the link, takes you right to YouTube. You can use it from your phone, a tablet, or an internet device. And from there, you'll be able to watch the meetings as they happen. And of course, if you're unable to, if you're subscribed, you get notification whenever we post archive meetings or any other video content that we have up. So make sure you guys subscribe. So that being said, I'm just going to go right on into it. I'm going to kind of be brief, not as detailed as I was because I don't have as much time. But if you have any questions, make sure you guys post it in the comments below, and I'll make sure I try my best to either find the answer or get it for you. So let's start. Like I said, this meeting took place last week on the 13th. This is our It Works meeting for Team Bold Adventurers. And that meeting is brought to you by my wonderful wife, Kat Aviles. That's her information there below. Of course, this is her YouTube channel, so that's one way to reach her. But if you have any specific questions that you wouldn't want to put down in the comments, I would definitely reach out to her through Instagram or Facebook. Those are the best ways to reach her. And that information is right there below. This presentation is actually also brought to you by It Works Energy, because without it, I would be a zombie. No, like literally, like I'm probably working on a half an hour of sleep, and It Works Energy is like my savior right now. So thank you to them. All right, let me jump right into it. What are my credentials? Who is this guy on my screen, and why do I care what he has to say? Well, let me tell you about my amazing resume. And once I go through it, I promise you'll know I'm the most legitimate speaker. I am the source and the credible expert on all this information. Let me just show you why. Okay, first, I'm an executive distributor under my wife, Kat Aviles. And if you don't know, executive distributor is actually, just past entry level. So please, guys, don't lose any breath. I know I'm amazing. Second, I'm the father of 2 banana-obsessed minions. Not 1, not 2. They yell banana all day long. Just me being able to deal with that makes me an expert. 3, I'm very fluent in sarcasm and inappropriate jokes. And actually, the longer this video goes and any other videos, you're gonna see how much training I have in these disciplines. So pay close attention. Okay, I'm 16 credits shy of an audio engineering degree. That's right, I am 16 credits shy. That means I almost did it, which is a big thing. I almost did it. That makes me amazing, right? I graduated from the police academy. Get this. I graduated from the police academy to be a part-time security guard. So obviously, I know about accomplishing goals and getting things done. I went through all the heartache of getting pepper sprayed, of rigorous training, crazy hours. I mean, every branch of the military was represented and we were all dying. And I did all that to be a part-time security guard. So be careful because my flashlight's right there, all right? I'm a professional change of major specialist. Now, this is actually true. This is actually a fact. In the school that I went to, the most recent school, there's actually a major that specializes in changing majors. So if any of you guys need any help on changing majors, I've done it 1,000 times. I have a lot of, hours of experience and internships. So if you guys need to change your major, I'm your guy, all right? And last but not least, one time I slept 18 hours straight without medicine. No sleeping pills, no pain pills. I was out 18 hours. That's technique, guys. Right? Round of applause? No round of applause? Okay, so that's bad. Is that not good? Well, I kind of did that to make a very important point. Is your resume doesn't define you or your potential. Like, your resume is not your potential. The reason why most people join It Works are to get away, from the standard, corporate scale job into this new kind of platform, which most people are scared of, the MLM. Whoa, everybody run. But regardless of what you felt, you thought it was a good idea because you were tired of a corporation defining what your potential was based on this little piece of paper that says where you worked and where you went to school. Let's be honest, guys, that paradigm is kind of over. It's shifting over. Your resume does not define you or your potential, okay? Some of our generation's most successful and influential entrepreneurs dropped out of high school, didn't start or finish college, and they were self-taught, okay? That goes with so many people. I can really go down the list, you know what I mean? But think about the most notable guys. I mean, you think about your Steve Jobs, your Mark Zuckerbergs, and the list goes on, You have to be teachable, adaptable. You got to step outside your current box of how you absorb information and how you apply that information, because don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you guys to go to school, you know what I mean? Mark Zuckerberg went to college, he learned programming, he went to an amazing college, and he was a programmer, and that definitely helped take him in the right direction. But what I'm saying is not no longer necessary. So let's break down these excuses of we don't have this, we don't have that, so I can't never achieve what this other person achieved. Yes, you can. We're going to start to break that down layer by layer to understand that you guys have the potential. You guys have all the tools that you need to be successful, okay? They weren't special per se. All these great people, we see them as special now, but there wasn't any, specific genetic, expression that made them just godly in their field, They had the drive and the belief that they can achieve their goals regardless of anything. And I think that's important. You have to see yourself doing it. Like, you have to really believe that. And like, when you hear other people's success stories, you have to believe that you can achieve it, not because they're telling that you can. Everybody told you when you were a kid that you can be anything, But when you actually start to believe that, that becomes more than just a nice little notion. It starts to become your reality, and we'll talk about that. We were all taught all the fundamental tools we need. And actually, not only were we all taught all the tools, but we've all learned that from the same educator, right? No matter where your background is, where you're from, you actually had the same educator. It's actually the largest education system in the world. It's called life. And your job is to get a doctorate in the school of life, or as they say, the school of hard knocks. But that's really, that I couldn't be more serious about that. We like to put ourselves and limit ourselves by saying, yeah, you went to this school, you went to that school, you have this education. I'm limited. I didn't learn all these things. I don't understand social media. I don't understand business dynamics. I don't understand marketing. How can I possibly do what you guys do? But you have the base fundamental. You have the fundamental tools of everything you need to be successful. And you actually learn that through life, because the experiences that you gain will actually teach you far beyond what an education system such as a high school or college can possibly teach you. And the more important thing is the actual application of that knowledge, actually applying it. So, and I'll share with you a really good quote that talks about that. Is life is the best teacher just as it is. It's the toughest teacher. It won't tolerate slothfulness for long. It's always throwing something difficult, always throwing some difficult problem your way, and then seeing what you're gonna do with it. And that's the important thing. It's like, not only do we have the same education system of life, but life is on your butt, making sure you're not only learning the lessons, but you're applying them in your life. And when you don't, life will be right there. It won't tolerate slothfulness for long. And the thing is, no matter what you've been through, I can guarantee you that you've got some insight in affiliate marketing. You've gained some insight on business structure and infrastructure and management. But once we start to look back and use those experiences, you'll see that you've got all the tools that you need. And that's actually a quote by Stephanie Killen. She's the author of a fantastic book. It's called Buddha Breaking Up, A Guide to Healing from Heartache and Liberating Your Awesomeness, which is like an amazing title. So, I took these things to heart. I took these concepts, started to look at my life a little bit differently. And once I did that, I felt like I could take on the world. I felt like I can achieve my goals. This stuff sounds cool. If I apply it, can I really do that? So I started chasing my dreams. I knew that I had my education at the University of Life. I knew I didn't want to be a security guard, hoping to build the resume to be a police officer. I wanted to do that. Actually, let's be very clear about that. And I'm not going to go on that for a long time. That's actually very important to me. And I actually plan to do that as a, there's similar to the military, you can do a reservist kind of form of being a police officer. And that's something I still want to do. But something interesting happened right before that time period where I was stuck in this limbo of being a security guard. I convinced myself that I can chase my dreams. So I started going down that path. And now, thankfully, I've been successful. I've already tried to do it before. I've been self-employed for quite some time. It was on and off. And now, thankfully, I've been self-employed for over 4 years. Able to provide for my family. I mean, that's what I wanted. I wasn't even really so concerned with what that meant, what kind of success, what that meant for dollar amounts. What did that mean as far as where I would be able to travel to? I just knew I wanted to be able to provide for my family by myself. I am the CEO and co-founder of, the CEO and founder of Boxit Electronics LLC, which is an electronics company. We specialize in cell phones. We do secondary market, retail, repairs, unlocks, and now we're getting into distribution, which makes it a really exciting time. We actually were lucky enough to sell $250,000 last year in sales, and our revenue this year looks like it might blow that out the water. So I just feel very blessed, very, very happy. I just hired my 6th employee, and we are growing rapidly, so I cannot complain. I am now in entertainment management. I never would have thought I would have ever ventured into entertainment management. I mean, I was very interested in the music industry for a while, training to be an audio engineer, which you see I was, several credits shy of that happening. But yeah, now I'm the reality of a cast member who's going to be in the new upcoming show called Below Deck Mediterranean, which airs on Bravo. So you guys look out for that. It's actually going to be a phenomenal show. That's actually an understatement. But most importantly of all of these things, I get to help my wife achieve her goals with It Works. I'm here with you guys, the team, and my wife. And that's what I really wanted to give to her because I know she's so passionate about this. I see her growing so much. And I know that if we worked as a team, that we can do amazing things together. So now that's where I'm here. I'm here now. And I'm very, very happy. Okay, so let's talk about how these presentations are going to run. That's the end of my intro. Now you know who I am. Let's talk about these presentations, okay? The way we're going to do these is we're going to have a nice little balance between education and execution. Unfortunately, when we recorded this, my wife did the later part of it. So actually what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to add it at the end of this clip. So that's fine. You guys will get the whole thing. I'll make sure you guys get the whole thing. But yeah, I want to balance the two because you can plan all day. But if you don't actually give yourself the tools to execute those plans, then you're just stuck in the planning stage. And if you're only in the execution stage, you're just like running around like a chicken with its head cut off, just kind of not really working. And the problem with that is you can get really discouraged if you're not applying the proper technique. That can be very discouraging. And a lot of people don't last long in any business because they feel discouraged. Okay, so we want you to be successful now, so we're going to go over practical applications, things that you can do tomorrow, the day after, next week, all the way up until the next meeting, okay? Also, we want to address team-specific needs, Again, I encourage you guys and implore you guys to share these videos with sidelines or anybody who would benefit from this, whether or not they're a part of It Works or any other organization. But the things that I'm going to cover is I'm making sure that common problems that we have within the team, that those are addressed, because that's the primary objective of this video. Us, all, the main people who are on the team and anybody below and above us that really need, an area where they can improve upon. So we're going to kind of address those areas. Okay. We'll also go over specific plans for lead generations. So it's really important to visit the streams, because if you're watching these videos afterwards, we'll actually talk about actual events that we plan on doing And those events might be the days after the presentation, and you guys will be getting the information late and not be able to actually be at those events if you guys aren't at the meeting or watching the live stream. So understand that that's really important. When time permits, we'll go over questioning pertaining to the presentation. Obviously that won't apply now because everybody's kind of gone, but keep in mind that that's something that we'll do in the future. And also we're going to do different speakers, including you guys, you right there watching this. I want everybody to be able to at least do one meeting, because like I said, everybody has an insight to share. We all have experience, and we'll go more into that, as this transpires. But understand that, you guys all have the tools to do what I'm doing right now. You guys have insight to be successful and to help other people be successful. So we're going to take care of that. And also keep in mind, this first introductory video is going to be very generalized. But that's because we have to kind of lay the foundation and then build upon it brick by brick. So, bear with me. If it feels like I kind of rushed over a topic and you're like, hey, I wish he would have delved a little bit deeper, understand that some of these topics can be entire videos of their own. They can be entire meetings. So just give us some time and we'll go over everything imaginable. No stone will be left unturned. All right, but before we do that, let's just talk about what you guys are doing right now, because this is really important. I want to make sure you guys are excited, but understand you're excited about tomorrow. When tomorrow starts, you're actually going back on your hero's journey. Okay, and this is a beautiful infographic that I found that talked about that, and here's what here it is. It's my hero's journey to surpass goals and never quit. Okay, now notice the first stage. Muster the courage to take a risk. And you see the guy, he's just like this, like, please. He's praying. I just want the courage to be able to go out and achieve my goals. Whatever that goal is, small or big, most of the time people don't get past that first stage. Is to muster the courage to go and do it, to start a business, to quit your job, to even other things like, talk to that lady that you really like and you might want to start a relationship with. We have these journeys in life that apply to everything, but, we're going to focus on how that applies to business and it works in life. But keep in mind that, this applies everywhere and most people don't get past here. So you guys need to congratulate yourselves, give yourselves a little pat on the back, because you've already passed this. You already took the risk. Whether or not you quit your job, whether or not you have so much money that the welcome kit was nothing to you, you're taking a risk, right? So be proud of yourself for doing that, okay? Now the second step, be compassionate and patient. Now that's really important, especially in It Works, okay? Because a lot of the times you're planting seeds. You're planting a lot of seeds and making connections with a lot of people that you have no idea when those seeds might come into fruition. And a lot of times, if you're not patient, a lot of people will give up right before those seeds will start bearing fruit. And it's such a shame because they're right there on the threshold and they gave up and they'll never know what was right there on the other side. So guys, be patient. Understand that the work that you're doing right now is going to pay off dividends. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen immediately, but it can happen as fast as you work. But either way, you have to be patient. Accept that it might be really quick or it might take a long time, or a moderate amount of time. It can take any amount of time. But I guarantee you, if you have patience and stay focused, you will be fine. And we'll talk about being focused after this. The third one is being accountable and transparent. Okay? That is really important, is accountability. How many times do we talk about in this company about, did you do your job? Did you do your due diligence? How many people did you blitz today? How many posts did you make on Instagram, on Facebook? Because if you're not accountable, how can you expect results? You can be the most patient person in the world, but if you're not working your business, nothing's going to happen. You have to work your business. Be accountable for that. Hold yourself accountable. And when other people try to support you and hold you accountable, don't fight them. Say, you know what? You're right. Let's go blitzing. Let's take care of what we need to take care of to work our business. All right, stay focused and authentic. Okay, that's really important. The focus part especially. I mean, authentic is, it's paramount, as you'll see later in the talks when we talk about social media and making authentic connection. But right now I want to talk about the focus part. You have to stay focused and keep your eye on the prize, because it's easy to be dismayed by haters, by your own self-doubt. We're sometimes our worst critic. And if we don't kind of silence those voices in our head and around us, then it's easy to lose focus and to say, you know what, maybe this isn't working. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not capable. Maybe I don't deserve it. All of these voices, you know, aren't true. You know they're not true. But sometimes they're very real. So we have to keep a level of focus. We have to make it a conscious effort to stay focused on our goal, okay? Whether that's a dream board, whether that's reminders, you know, whether that's a to-do list, whatever you need to keep your eye on the prize, okay? The next one's my favorite one because it kind of brings me back to the academy. We had a saying on the academy when we did physical training and defensive tactics that said, embrace the suck. And this one says, endure the suck. I like embrace a little bit better. Don't just endure it. Don't just get beat up. That's important. At least make sure you survive it, right? And you can see in the infographic, this guy's holding on for dear life. Okay, but more so than endure it, which is important, embrace it. Understand that that's building your armor. You know, understand that every time you get knocked down, it's not just you get up, it's you get up stronger. The likelihood of you getting knocked down just decreased. And the more you get knocked down, you can actually feel happy about that, because eventually you'll never get knocked down. Not in anything in that field. Again, we do this journey many times, but not during that journey. Okay, now let's talk about being confident. And now you see this guy, he is ready to go. This guy is like walking on one foot. He's like, yeah, I got this. I got this. I'm, you know, diamond or double diamond or triple diamond. I'm going to make it, you know. But there's something really, really important that happens during the next step. And it's something that everybody has to do. Whether or not you feel like you're doing well or not, whether or not that leap is a small leap or a leap that feels like it's impossible, everybody has to take a leap of faith. Because even the short leap, what you consider the short leap, you can fall. I mean, look at how far down that goes. Nobody wants to fall there. But everybody does that. Everybody has to take that leap of faith. So many people get stuck on what their moderate success, whether that's diamond or double diamond, and they just can't promote. And it's because they met the stagnant place because they're not willing to take that leap. They're very confident. They know, they feel like that they're going in the right direction, but you know, they just kind of had a loss of steam, a loss of momentum, and you got to jump. You got to jump. And we got a really good video that we're going to show right after that. But to finish off quick, the last thing that I love, it's my favorite part, is gratitude for gifts received. You know, during the conference this year, so many people talked about giving back. During Christmas, being able to buy Christmas presents for people, you know, disaster relief, humanitarian, you know, just going on groups for humanitarian purposes. And there's so many things that we can do that we're so grateful for these gifts that what ends up happening, I could tell you what's the next step afterwards, is we're so grateful that every person just tends to want to share that. They show their gratitude by service in others. And I think that's beautiful. And you start over. You start over in the next goal, but when you stumble, you get up and cycle faster through the steps. Remember the journey and don't be distracted by the illusion of potential failure. Keep that in mind. They're saying once you complete this journey, you already know what you're capable of. And when you go through it again, it might be a quick little shock. If you slip, you're like, whoa, wait, I already did this journey. How can I be slipping? Am I doing something wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. If you stick to the path, you will understand that that's an illusion of potential failure. That's just that voice in the back of your mind on the stay focused section. Once you go through Hero's Journey many, many times, you gain so much confidence in it that you are just firing on all cylinders in life, okay? So that's it really quick. I just want to share that with you guys. And the last thing I'm gonna share is just one quick video that really talks about a major part in this journey. It's actually by Steve Harvey. What's interesting is he shot, a lot of people saw this video, so if you've seen it, you can just kind of fast forward. But what's really cool about this is he was, you know, this was when he was a host for Family Feud, And at the end of the show, you know, whether or not the cameras were rolling, he felt compelled to kind of share this message to the audience. So, you know, I feel like it's really, really genuine, and I feel like there's a lot to gain from this message. So let's show that.
I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to tell you something that every successful person has to do, including you. Believe it or not, every successful person in this world has jumped. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. You are going to have to jump. You cannot just exist in this life. You have got to try to live. If you are waking up thinking that there's got to be more to your life than it is, man, believe that it is. Believe in your heart of hearts that it is. But to get to that life, you're going to have to jump. I'll tell you why I call it jumping. See, God, when he created all of us, he gave every last one of us a gift at birth. He never created a soul without endowing them with a gift. You just got to quit looking at gifts as running, jumping, singing, dancing. It's more than that. It's if you know how to network, if you can connect dots, if you draw, if you teach. Some of y'all fry chicken better than anybody else, bake pie. Some of you cut hair, color hair. Some people do grass. I got a partner, man, who never wanted to go out with us because we stayed out too late. Come on, man, go out with me. Now I got to get up early, Mom, cutting Miss Johnson's grass. We kept laughing at this dude, cutting grass. How much they pay you? He got a landscaping company in Cleveland worth $4 million. Because all he do is cut grass. But he was gifted at it. I got a partner on a detail shop, make $800,000 a year detailing cars. He got 6 mobile trucks running around. $800,000 a year. All he do is detail cars. That's his gift. That's what he loved to do. You've got to identify that gift. Now listen to me. When you see people in life, when you're standing on the cliff of life and you see people soaring by, when you see people soaring, going to exotic places, you hear about them doing wonderful things. Maybe you look up the street and your neighbor just gets a car every year, every 2 years. You know, how is he doing that? Have you ever thought, maybe this person right here has identified their gift and is living in their gift? Because your Bible says, your Bible says your gift will make room for you. Your gift, not your education. You go get an education, that's nice. But if you don't use your gift, that education only going to take you so far, man. I know a lot of people got degrees, man. They ain't even using them. It's your gift. But the only way for you to soar is you got to jump. You got to take that gift that's packed away on your back. You got to jump off that cliff and pull that cord. That gift opens up and provides the soar. If you don't ever use it, you're going to just go to work. And if you're getting up going to work on a job every day that you hate going to, that ain't living, man. You just existed. At one point in time, you ought to see what living's like. But the only way to see what living like, you got to jump. And here's the problem. Let me just be real with you. When you first jump, let me tell you something. Your parachute will not open right away. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you it did, but it don't. When you jump, it's not going to open right away. You're going to hit them rocks. You're going to get some skin tore off on them cliffs. You're going to get all your clothes tore off. You're going to get some cuts on you. You're going to be bleeding pretty bad. But eventually, the parachute has to open. That is a promise of God. That ain't a theory, that's a promise. His promises is true, because listen to me. You cannot name one single thing God has not gotten you through. Name it. And if he ain't got you through it, he currently pulling you through it right now. And the living proof of it is you sitting in here. If he hadn't got you through it, you wouldn't even be here. So if he ain't never not got you through it, why would he not let your parachute open? It has to open, man. But you got to jump, though. Now, here's another thing. You can play it safe and deal without the cuts and the tears. And you can stand on that cliff of life forever safe. But if you don't jump, I got another promise I can make you. Your parachute will never open. You'll never know. You'll never know what God really has for you. See, your God has a wonderful life for you. Once again, I'm going to refer to your Bible. Now, you go down there, you memorize these scriptures, you don't apply them to yourself. Your Bible says that he comes to give you life and give you life more abundantly. If I were you, I would jump. Because that's the only way to get to that abundant life. You got to jump, man. You got to take a chance. Now, when I get through talking, there are those of you who discuss this in the car. Well, I got bills, and I got bills. Whether you stay on the cliff or you jump, you're going to have bills. Well, if I quit my job, I'm going to ruin my credit. If you got a job, you live in check to check. Even if you got A1 credit, you can't buy nothing else no damn way. At one point in time, man, do yourself a favor. Go see what God really do. God hold you up, man. He ain't going to let you fall. He ain't bring you this far to let you fall. Do yourself a favor, man. Before you leave this world, before you die, jump. Just jump one time. Just jump. Thank you very much.
Yeah, fantastic video. And you know, I really liked it. I think no matter what, you know, belief system you subscribe to, you'll find that that's kind of like a common theme, that people who are successful, that they all say that. You know, so it's really fantastic. And I'm a pro jumper. Some were really painful, you know, but some have been life-changing, you know, like when I quit my job with only $2,000 and never looked back, you know. So understand that, you know, in this business that you're gonna have to take a jump at some point. And, you know, if you have the confidence to understand that that's actually the kind of the beautiful part of life is taking that jump, you know, you'll find yourself real successful. So, okay, without further ado, we're gonna move to the first part of the training. Again, the second part, you know, I think we might just end this video after the first part, just so I can get it to you guys really quick. But the second part, we'll actually just move over to the next meeting and we'll just talk about social media do's and don'ts, okay? So let's just continue forward. Treat this like a business. Understand that for all intents and purposes, you are a independent contractor working for It Works in marketing. So you are representing yourself or a business. You know, treat it like that. You are a business. And the wonderful thing about it is you don't have to wait until you're double diamond or triple or presidential or an ambassador to start learning this stuff. You can start learning just very, very basic ideas now that's easy to apply. Not only does it make you more successful now, but then once you actually reach that point, now you already have that foundation where you can make that jump and take it to a whole nother level because you already have that foundation. So don't be afraid to learn little bits of information on how to work your business a little bit better. You know, It Works gives you fantastic tools and they have, you know, their steps to success. But if you also integrate that with a couple key fundamentals, you'll see that everything makes sense. You see why those steps to success are there. And when you know why, you know, you're empowered more to use those tools more effectively. Okay, so, you know, in order to treat this like a business, everybody has to recognize that you have to be a leader, right? If it's your business, you're employee one of one or one of three, if you have 2 distributors under you, understand that you're immediately a leader and they're gonna count on you to be a leader, okay? So you have to be a leader. There's no way around it. Everybody has to be a leader, but don't panic. I'll show you how. You don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna show you how. Nobody panic, okay? Let's talk about first how we break down this idea that's stopping us from being a leader. The reason why we're panicking is this I'm not a leader mentality, okay? Let's break down these mental barriers that are stopping you from being a leader. Okay, the first one is I don't have the traits to be a leader, you know? I'm not a good talker. I'm not that organized. You know, all of these characteristics on what we feel like you need to be a leader. You say, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this. Okay. What's another thing we say? I don't have the education to be a leader. I don't have an MBA. I don't have any experience in accounting and management or, you know, employee relations or anything like that. I don't understand how to lead a team. I've never done it before. Please help. Then I don't have enough downline to be a leader. You know, I'm just blank. I'm just a distributor. I'm just an executive. You know, if I'm just an executive, you know, that's only 2 people underneath me, or if I only have 1 person underneath me. So, you know, the diamond above me should deal with that. You know, that's that person's responsibility. You know, not necessarily because I feel like that's the only way, but just because I can't. So I hope you'll help me out, you know? And then I don't have blank. You can fill an infinite amount of, you know, reasons and mental barriers why you can't be a leader. But let's start to break some of these things down, okay? First, traits and characteristics are acquired, not inherited. That's really, really important. I can't stress it enough. While there are people who are really, really gifted at specific traits that make them, you know, it makes it very easy for them to step in that leadership role. Understand that anybody can have those traits. You learn them and then you practice them. Okay, I don't care how tall you are, how gifted you are, and like physically, if you're shooting jump shots every day from the age of 4 years old, now you're going to be an amazing shooter. Whether or not that means you're in the NBA or college, I guarantee you'll be an amazing shooter. The difference between these leaders that are so inspiring is they practice their leadership. Those traits and characteristics, they're finely tuned. They learn them and then they practice, they train and train and train. And that's not even a bad thing. You've already been training. Okay, I don't have the education. Well, we already broke that down. You know, you have the best education, you have life. You know, if you were a server before, or if you were, you know, a cashier, I guarantee you've learned bits and pieces, fundamental pieces nonetheless, mind you, that actually will help you be a great leader. You've already learned them. Now you just have to practice them. So you do have the education, right? And then I don't have enough downline. Rank does not decide leadership. I thought that the most insightful piece of wisdom that was shared during the conference, and I forget the individual who said it, maybe somebody will write it down below in the comments, is that everybody's a leader, not just diamond, and rank does not decide whether or not you're a leader. We need more ruby leaders. We need more emerald leaders. And we also need those leaders to start preparing our executives to become leaders, to start training them, to start helping them. You know, this is very, very important, guys. And this is kind of the theme of this presentation, is right now all of us have to step up to this plate and start becoming leaders and helping our team. And that's when things really start to change for you. So let's get rid of the excuses. I don't have blank. Anything you can fill that blank in, I have a rebuttal for. So let's just break down this barrier. Let's just break down this mentality that you can't because you can't. You absolutely can and you will. Okay, so first let's talk about the types of leadership. You have direct versus indirect leadership. All right, keep in mind that indirect leadership is in It Works Green, and there's significance to that. Let's talk about what they are first. Okay, indirect leadership, right? Now, indirect leaderships are leaders who guide an entire organization or a large group of members, and they affect the lower levels indirectly. So most of the people that they're having their contact with, you know, are, you know, the leaders below them, and they allow that to kind of pass through. So we'll talk about what that means. I know I didn't say that in the most articulate way. Their impact and their influence flow down the organization through their inspiration, success, and authority. Okay, and that passes down to the leaders below. So either you're this beacon of light that is so inspirational that everybody follows you, you know, and just like a Wi-Fi signal where, your Wi-Fi can only reach down there, but I can buy an extender that will make that Wi-Fi signal larger. That's why you have schools that have these repeaters and extenders that can, bounce a signal out as far as they want. So, these leaders on the top, either through authority or their inspiration or their success, are like this beacon of light. They're leading by example, and those principles and policies, they flow down because once a leader catches it, they kind of repeat the signal. And that's how you affect people all the way in the bottom, when you're this high, because you have that kind of bouncing down. Understand that if you have a leader in an important place that isn't bouncing that signal of your leadership, then your message isn't reaching all the way down. So that's important. And this also requires strong leadership skills to effectively organize and motivate your people. You also have to delegate really, really well, because you need those, like I said, those other leaders underneath you to do that. Now, you don't have departments like a standard corporation do, but you do have teams. So you have to distribute, not just, have them doing exactly what you're doing, but, delegate those tasks. Have one of your leaders that specialize in one part of the organization. It could be somebody who organizes groups. It could be somebody who's really, really good in marketing, You really have to delegate really, really well, okay? These are for people who are predominantly what we consider the diamonds and above. You know what I mean? These guys who are more than likely the ambassadors, the black diamonds, presidential diamonds, who know this business in and out, and they have so much to share, but they can't reach every individual. So the best way they do it is kind of spread their message to the masses, okay? Other form of leadership, direct leadership, okay? Now, direct leadership is, with spoiler alert, I let them all out. I was actually supposed to change that, but whatever. Leaders who guide individuals or small groups or departments. They're commonly labeled as managers, supervisors. What this does is less members make it easier to closely monitor and evaluate the needs of each individual. That's important because that person who's employing direct leadership, they might have 5, 10, 15, 20, very smaller, much smaller scale than the higher leadership, which is employing indirect leadership. And that allows them to address problems before they become issues because they're so close to each of the individuals, they can monitor and evaluate your needs. So if you're, an emerald, you have a closer eye on an executive that's on your downline, and as soon as something happens, you can react right away because they're right there. You know what I mean? This regular interaction, it builds trust and connection, which improves communications. And think about that. How many people have dropped out just because of a lack of communication? How important is communication in this business? How many times do you have somebody who just didn't say anything and then they just kind of went away, So let's start fixing that. And all of this results in a better understanding of your business from the ground up. And it's easier to empathize because you're in the trenches with them. If you're working at a restaurant, your manager, sometimes he's got to jump on the floor. Sometimes he's out there running food. If you're working at Best Buy, sometimes you get an irate customer, your manager jumps in and now he's got to take the verbal lashing of that customer. So these guys who employ direct leadership, they're there with you. So you kind of relate to them. Sure, they're still considered and higher up, but it's that close higher up that you feel like you can pick up the phone and call, that you can text and just, say, hey, I'm struggling, I'm blitzing, but it's not working. What can I do? You feel closer to that person who signed you up. You know what I mean? But sometimes that person isn't leading. So we're going to talk about that. So again, it brings us back. So direct, now that we know what they are, what's better? Direct or indirect, okay? Now, indirect, like I said before, is in green because that's actually the predominantly used form of leadership, at least from my observation, okay? And most team leaders put all their energy and effort into this type of leadership, and it's led to some very clear consequences. Let's talk about those consequences. Consequences of lacking direct leadership have been new members lacking confidence because they're not trained. You have a lot of people who aren't trained properly who you just say, go ahead and go online, go to the e-suite, go to It Works You, go ahead and watch these videos, read your manuals and guides, and you'll have everything that you need. But imagine if you went to work at Best Buy or Walmart or Target or a gas station and said, here, read that. And you start tomorrow. Good luck. You wouldn't feel confident at all. You want somebody to be there to, answer your questions. What if you don't understand it? So that's an issue there. What about new members feeling lost without a game plan, no direction? That's almost important as training, because you can have all the training in the world. We talked about before, if you don't have a path to success, what is that training going to do for you? And again, without the direct lead, we can give them the steps to success and say, here you go. Here's the steps to success. We have this mass-produced training, which is great. You need it in an organization like It Works. And most organizations like that are MLM won't provide that to that degree. So, tip my hat to It Works. They're doing a phenomenal job. But it's also the job of leadership, direct leadership. And our people who are, even right now what we're doing is we have our people like our triple diamonds where, if somebody else signs them up, they're like, okay, here's the training material. This is a number of our upline leader. Go ahead and call her if you have any questions. That person could feel lost. And because of all these things, they feel neglected. They're not going to reach out. They don't know that person, they're not as close. They know you signed him up. And you can introduce them and break the ice, but, they might feel neglected, and a lot of people just kind of fade away when they feel neglected. They become inactive. And, their account just goes inactive and they become MIA. They do other things. They're no longer interested. Okay, so now that we see the issues of not having direct leadership, we can see how important it is. We can bring direct leadership in the conversation. Direct leadership is very, very important, okay? We see the repercussions and ramifications if we don't apply the concepts of direct leadership. So it's very, very obvious that that's the best, right? I mean, think about these problems. These are serious problems that affect the success of an entire team sometimes. So direct is the best, right? No, wrong. No, direct is not the best. The problem is how most people view these things as opposite forms. They're not. You guys need both of them. We need direct and indirect leadership. We need to use them both. The problem was the verses. Okay, when we can apply both of these forms of leadership, everything else fades away. You're covering all angles. You're meeting the needs of the individual and the greater needs of the organization, both effectively tackling them on. All that other stuff is gone. All these problems go away. Now, I would imagine with this new comprehensive approach, everybody who's like a diamond and higher, they're like, holy crap, how the heck am I supposed to do both? I'm so busy as it is. I got so many things to manage. I have to manage the larger picture for my team. And I'm already signing up, talking to people, and I'm out there working. How can I possibly train and be on top of every single distributor to sign in my organization? It's impossible. Well, the answer is you don't. It's actually not your responsibility. There's no I in team, and that very much applies here. The one team, one mission mantra becomes more important than ever. Okay, guys? This is actually the responsibility of the team. The team has to share this load. And the only way the team can share this load is if we have more leaders. We need more leaders, okay? All you guys that are watching this, you will all be leaders. We need more. Again, what I said in the beginning, we need more Ruby leaders. We need Emerald leaders. We need the training of leadership to begin when you sign up as a distributor, and refined when you're an executive, and applied when you become Ruby. Because it's important for everybody to, even before Ruby, like I said, that's just kind of an example. But we have to mold leaders, all you upliners who are like just kind of in, diamond limbo, and you're like, man, I should be X by now. I should be promoted by now. You have to mold leaders to help you. You can't do everything by yourself. We need to call upon the entire team. Everybody else is like, okay, good luck on finding those leaders, but point to them, say, that's you. That means you. You have to be that leader. We've talked about this, and now we're going to talk about why that's important. Your leader needs you, and your team needs you. How like beautiful is it that it's not just us saying we need our ambassadors, we need our double diamonds to show us the way, and we're calling them like crazy, nonstop. Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. Hey, I need this. We have to step up to the plate. We have to step up and be leaders in order for our entire team to be successful. Double diamonds need executives just like executives need double diamonds. They both need each other to be successful. If we can come together as a team, everybody will be successful, okay? You're a leader. Let's finally get into that. We've talked about it so many times. You have all the strengths. We all have strengths and skills that we can offer. Everybody, okay? Whether you're an event planner, you don't have to have a degree in event management. There are plenty of people who do great. They plan birthday parties really, really well. You know, they plan get-togethers. They coordinate family reunions. Guess what? You're an event planner. That means you're good at that. You could set up meetings at convention centers, at set up just group meetings at somebody's house, host it, put it together, live stream it, record it, post it on, spread the word. These guys are event planners. People have those skills. We need those skills. Graphic design. Graphic design is important. You want to represent your business well. If there's somebody in your team that's an artist or a digital artist, help out the team. Because guess what? I guarantee you everybody's going to be successful this way. And if your upline is depending on you and you're depending on your upline, guess what? Everybody's going to help each other out. People sometimes are like, wow, I wish I had somebody who was just placing people under me. Guess what? If you're being a leader and you're stepping up to the plate, you're showing initiative to that double diamond. You're showing that if they invest in you and your time, that your leg is what's going to get them to the next level, then guess what? It's one team, one mission. Everybody helping each other. Everybody wins, okay? What about motivators? Guys who are so comfortable and sociable that they'll call 10 people up in the team and say, how many people did you blitz today? How many people did you blitz today? Or they would post a wonderful poster to get people going, or do a quick video blog that will just inspire people. You know what I mean? We need motivators in the team. You need social media networking. There's a lot of specialists there because you guys will spend, 5 hours a day on Facebook before you even started a business, before you started in this business. So guess what? You guys are good in social media networking, whether or not you realize that. Just understanding how to navigate within Facebook or Instagram, there are other people who don't know that. So guess what? You can help them. When you hire somebody, you can say, hey, are you good with Facebook? Are you good with Instagram? Okay, do you know about this? Gauge where their level of expertise and share anything that you can share. That's going to help them be successful. That's going to help you be successful. And when you're confident in that trait, you can be a leader. Okay, sales techniques. A lot of this is sales. They're really, a lot of people unknowingly or knowingly have refined sales technique, whether they've worked in, a car dealership, real estate, a server, an electronics store. All these guys, some of these guys, whether knowingly or not, actually have great technique in mirroring, in closing deals, in, understanding the dynamics of a negotiation. You know what I mean? And these little, you feel like these are unrelated. Like, how can selling cars help me do this? I guarantee you, somebody who has sold cars has gained a technique that would actually empower you to get more people to sign up. All right, accounting. Some people are really good with numbers. We need to treat this as a business, and at some point, we need to start accounting. If for nothing, to save money in taxes at the end of the year, but for much more, to have a picture of your business. So we can provide those things. Management. If anybody's ever was captain of the basketball team, you have management skills, okay? Or if you're a manager at an Abercrombie and Fitch, you have management skills. And much more. The beautiful thing is, now that we realize that we all have something to offer, that we all have a reason why we can be considered a leader. You guys are all head of your departments. If your organization consists of a double diamond and diamonds around here and rubies and emeralds here, you guys can all be head or teams in your department of graphic design, of event planners, of accounting, so that your team has something that they can rely on, so you all can grow together. And guess what? That confidence that you gain because you recognize your one skill or many skills will give you the confidence to be proficient at these other areas, which would only strengthen your ability to lead. Okay, so take this seriously, guys. I want you guys to really take this seriously. You are a leader, okay? When you sign people up, don't leave them in the cold. Don't just rely on people on top. They're really busy. Like, I couldn't imagine what I would do, like, without my purchasing manager in my company. Like, I would have so much of the day-to-days that I would never get any of the big picture stuff done. My company would be stagnant. And actually, one of my first companies that I've ever launched, that was my biggest problem. I had to dissolve the company because I wasn't making enough to hire anybody. But I was at that weird place where I was able to make a good income and pay my bills, but it was taking way too much time. So I moved on from that. It was great. I didn't lose any money, thankfully, and it was a learning experience. But the beautiful thing about It Works is you're ready to hire employees. They paid to get hired under you. You know what I mean? So take that seriously. They're investing in you. They're spending that $100 in the company and in you. You convince them. So be a leader. Plan group chats, get-togethers, online meetings. Train your distributors. Train your DTs. Like, don't just refer them to the manual. Sit down with them. Say, hey, listen, when do you want to get together and go over this? Don't just tell them to read it. Go over it. If they don't live in your state, go on Skype. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different ways. The beauty of the internet is we can do this together. But understand that the training is their first impression. If they don't feel confident in their product knowledge, they're not going to feel confident going out and blitzing people. And if you don't have the confidence that you could even train them, then that means you need to be trained. So go in and go reach out to your next above leader and train and bring that person you just signed up with you, and you guys go together. We need to feel confident. So go over it with them. Take a leader, take that seriously. Do team building exercises. You do one Google of team building exercises, you'll find 1,000 different ideas. Understand that you're a leader of a team. You might not see it, but if you have 2, 3, 4 people under you, they're counting on you. Don't just defer to the person above. I'll tell you one great team building exercise, because I'm a nerd and I just love this stuff, is escape games. If you ever look it up, here in Orlando, it's kind of a growing thing called escape games or escape rooms. And they'll put a whole bunch of people in a room, 6 to 12 people, and they all have to coordinate together to escape the room. In order to do that, they have to look around and solve puzzles. Like, you got to look through books. You might find a note in the book with a combination, and that combination will open a safe, and that safe gives you a key that you have to find a thing that you play on a piano. It's really creative stuff. And they have all different themes, but that actually builds team. It builds your ability of your team to work together to tackle problems. Not just critical thinking and problem solving, but doing that together. And guess what? That is going to make, not only is that going to be super pumped up, yay, it works, we're here, we're doing this as a team building exercise, it was so much fun. They're going to high morale and they're going to feel pumped and energized, but you're actually making them work together better, and they're seeing you as a leader because you're organizing these things. Be the bridge to your upline. Again, like I said, thank God for my purchasing manager. He's kind of my filter for a lot of questions that he can easily answer. Anytime you get a question, don't just say, yeah, just contact this person. Contact our triple diamond. He knows it all. He knows everything about this stuff. One, if you don't know that question, you should find out the answer because you should know it. And then you should share that answer. You know what I mean? Be the bridge to your upline. These guys are really, really busy. Okay? And if you overload them, then it's not going to be a benefit to you or your organization. Understand, like I said, you need them and they need you. Okay? So be that bridge. Step up to the plate. Be a leader. And set up events for lead generation. Events just aren't expos and seminars and conferences. You can make an event to gather 4 people and go out blitzing at the mall. Or 2, 3 people going to meet out with, store owners and businesses and sitting down one-on-one. Understand that, it's great when you go out by yourself and you're showing pictures, but if you want to be a leader, take somebody with you. Always take at least one person with you. Oh, but I don't want to share my leads. Yes, you do. You need them to succeed. That's the beauty of this structure, is you're empowered and rewarded by sharing and helping other people grow. You never have that conflict of a leader, of a supervisor that, oh man, I don't want to give this guy some of my commission because I need to pay my bills too. No, you want to give them everything because that's just going to build you up. So take somebody with you every time you go blitzing. Take the most unconfident person and bring them with you and show them that they can do it. Okay, be a leader, guys. And again, this is a wonderful picture as a capstone, one team, one mission. You see all these people who are they're on sidelines and stuff like that. We're all one team. You know what I mean? When somebody from a sideline comes down to your state and they need help, and you say, well, how would that benefit me? Well, guess what? It's helping your leadership skills, because now they're counting on you. If they need product, if they need to know where to blitz at, you want to go with them. They want to join in on your meeting. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, they're not a part of my organization. Guess what? You're empowering you and your organization by getting the experience of being a leader, plus you're giving them. Listen, spread this energy around. This is not just a good saying. One team, one mission. Like, let's really take that to another level and let's be leaders. I guarantee you that will have instant effects on your entire business. It'll build you up. It'll build your confidence. It'll help you get more customers, more distributors. It'll help your distributor retention. You'll have less people just kind of leave because they're frustrated or, they're demoralized. You'll retain more customers. You'll retain more distributors, which would build you up even more. It'll help you build the fuel for your organization. It'll help the people above you. It'll help the people below you, and it'll help yourself. It's a win-win situation, guys. Okay, so that's kind of the conclusion here for this part. Again, I know I said each video will give practical. This was actually part 1, and part 2 is supposed to be practical techniques on applying this and other things. We're going to talk about social media do's and don'ts, but we're just going to wrap that up just for time's sake. On the next one, I promise I'll get it right. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Any feedback you have, not just questions on the presentation, but if you have feedback on the way that the presentation was set up, please leave comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, if it helped you, because if you're a part of It Works or you're not, please hit the like button. It really supports us and allows us to make more of these videos. We appreciate it. And subscribe if you are interested in this content and want to get more content. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Again, I'm Julio Aviles, and I'll see you guys next week.